Thank you for coming into Agent Tactics. If you haven't been on Agent Tactics yet, thank you for joining this one. I do these every single Friday. I bring in guests from different backgrounds. I am heavy in YouTube. As you popped on earlier, I was just talking about, I have 9 listings right now, all for 8 listings right now, all from YouTube clients. So I'm heavy into video. So Agent Tactics, every Friday, I bring on a different guest to talk video topics, primarily YouTube. My guest today is Ian Williams. We're going to do a CapCut training class. If you don't know Ian Williams, he is in the Austin area. Him and I are both at Real Broker, and what we love most, obviously, there's a lot of amazing things we love about Real Broker, low splits, good tech, all that fun stuff. But what we love most is the collaboration. And so part of the collaboration that we do is different events inside the Real Broker background, inside Real Broker. This Agent Tactics is outside of that. So I allow everybody to come in. What we do is after this is recorded, I put this on my YouTube channel, which I'll drop the link in the comments before. If you're from Real Broker, just drop a 1 in the comments so I know who my real people are. So I will put this on my Agent Tactics YouTube channel. If you don't get it there, usually you have to join the event and I will send this out also. We are building playbooks for each one of these shows. And so the playbook you'll get as well. The playbook, you basically can read through, instead of having to watch back the video, read through the main bullet points of what we talk about. There we go. We got Stan in here. Warren, good to see my real peeps. So I will be getting this out to you. Yesterday, we did this CapCut class and it was really amazing. I love what Ian does because obviously we have Real Amigos that we do on YouTube and we get to collaborate in that manner. But we did a YouTube class in Dallas a couple weeks ago and we had Ian talked about CapCut in there. He talked about CapCut yesterday. I'm going to shut up and let Ian talk CapCut. That way we get rolling. Please, as we go, drop questions and I will stop Ian periodically and answer your questions. This is meant to be a free-flowing conversation and to give you the most amount of information possible. So if you're ready, drop an exclamation mark in the chat so I know you are ready. Mindy, what up? Good to see you. Mindy put out a killer video yesterday right after this. In fact, let me show you the video she put out. Well, I'll pull it up as you start talking. I'll pull up the video. But my main man, Ian Williams, Joanna's in here. Joanna Arnold, go back on my Agent Content YouTube channel. Find the video I did with Joanna Arnold. She's crushing it doing video and video content, and we had her on here. Ian Williams, you're up, boss. Ready to go.
I'm gonna hereby be known as Ian of Austin. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So check this out. I think CapCut is one of the best tools for everybody to be able to create content on any platform. And that's what I spent a lot of time talking about yesterday. We have people that are into Premiere, people that are into iMovie, people that just do it on the platforms themselves, such as within Instagram or within TikTok or trying to edit in YouTube Shorts. The beauty of CapCut is that you can do almost everything that's available in all of the other apps, but in one place. And so that's why I've kind of leaned into really learning CapCut at a higher level. And it doesn't have to be extremely detailed or difficult. It's actually a very intuitive app to use. And so that's what I want to go through today. Jeremy, you're going to pull up that video with Mindy, right?
Yeah, in just 1 second, I'm putting my Agent Tactics in the comment. So if you want Agent Tactics, there you go. Good. Instagram, Mindy profile. She tagged me in it. Here we go. And share screen. Boom. Here we go. All right, here we go. So here's a video that she did yesterday.
That ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. That's one for them good girls right next to me. Styling, wilding, living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with same wrong. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty.
Hey, and that was good. That was good.
One of the things that we had talked about is I have these videos where like I make myself small, and Mindy, she made herself small. She had she removed the background, she added some music, she did all of these things that CapCut allows you to do. So it was very cool to see her, like, obviously pretty quickly, because she had the video up right after our class. So that was nice to see. Where are you at, Mindy? I know she's in here. It was a great job. I was proud. I was blushing. I was like, that's so good. All right. So I'm going to start off by just opening up Actually, I'll open up Instagram so you can see a couple videos that give examples of things that I want you to be able to learn and know about in CapCut. So this is the kind of stuff that people see me do.
It's just in. You are a sexy, sexy bitch.
So we call that a transition, where I went from the outside to inside of the house. You'll notice in most of these videos, I have some kind of music or some kind of effect. So there's a transition style video.
This is only a 2-bedroom house, but it's nicer than a lot of the 6-bedroom houses that I've seen. Let me explain. For starters, all the appliances are high-end. From your beautiful KitchenAid.
So the point of that video is like a point of view. A lot of people like to be able to walk and talk as they're going through different homes. You'll see meme style videos.
I think it'll be a pretty good year for people who are looking to buy something, because you have the Fed who's talking about lowering interest rates. It's an election year, and so that always shakes things up a bit.
Where you just take clips of 2 different styles of videos, and then the last one, we'll call it Day in the Life of.
You have barbecue in Texas?
Let me tell you a little bit about my trip to South Dakota. Julie wanted to host an event to commemorate her transition to Real and getting a new office. So she asked John, myself, and Sharon to share some knowledge and provide value.
Okay, so the point of all those is to show that there are a lot of different styles of videos that you can make with CapCut. Basically, anything that you see a realtor do, or anybody for that matter, you can use just your phone and capture the content and put it into CapCut and edit it pretty darn well. There are a few videos where a camera might be a little bit better, but if you're going to spend, a few $1,000s on a camera, you're going above being just a realtor. You're learning how to do some serious video editing. Everything that I do is on my phone. So I'm going to open up CapCut. I think the first thing to do would be to start off and go through some of the elements of CapCut. And if you notice, so I'm going to open the app again. When I open the app, up at the top, I have a lot of different options. And before we go too far into the options, I want to say I do have a pro account. You do not have to have a pro account to do most of these things. It'll highlight whether or not, every option will highlight whether or not pro is required for it. So there are certain text that you need a pro account for, maybe certain transitions or effects that you need a pro account for, but you don't need to spend the money if you don't feel like it. Who knows what the pro account costs? I don't know what the pro account costs. I think it's like $70 a year, something like that. It's not too expensive, but if you need a pro account link, just let me know. I can share it with you. Okay, so I'm pulling down up at the top. You can't see my taps, but up at the top of the screen, you can see a bunch of different items. You can see script to video. You can see photo editor. It's also, so it's important to know that within CapCut, you can do not just video, but you can also do photos. Sometimes you'll see people that want to put maybe a photo album together or a carousel for Instagram. You can do that in CapCut. If you want to have a reel or a YouTube short or a long video, right? If you wanted to do a 15-minute YouTube video, I don't know if Heather's on here. Heather Witt and I just did one of those 2 days ago, and all I used was CapCut. So it is very possible to do that. You see there's a video translator option at the top right-hand corner. So the translate will allow you to have audio or text that's translated to another language if you don't speak that language. Fantastic. You have an auto cut option, which is right in the center here. And that can take a long video, cut it up, and align music to the beat. of the video, or align the video to the beat of the music, and it'll chop it up for you automatically. Is it great? I don't think it's great. I think it's better to do it manually because you have a lot more precision that way. But it is an option in here. You'll see at the bottom left, you'll see AI effects, or toward the bottom left. AI effects would be a lot of the videos that you'll see online. You'll see people switching, and maybe it'll be cyberpunk style, or you'll see it in some old samurai Western like style. You can make those effects happen by choosing AI effects. Notice it's a pro feature in CapCut, but if you wanted to do a talking head video, or you wanted to do some fun scene where you're acting it out, you can just click the AI effects and it'll change it all for you. It's really, really neat. You'll notice there's also a camera. So a lot of people say, well, do I shoot it in CapCut or do I use my regular camera? The answer is yes. The answer is just shoot it. You can shoot it within the CapCut app, and you can also shoot it outside and import it in. And we're going to go through how to import it in as well. So either way is fine. Retouch is for if you wake up in the morning and you've got puffy eyes like I did, you can get rid of those. You can add, I don't know, if you wanted to add a different hat, if you wanted to add sunglasses, things like that, you can touch up your face and maybe your body. You see auto captions down at the bottom. Auto captions are important because they will just create captions across a talking head video. So if I'm talking like this, you'll notice most people might have this at the bottom of Zoom. It just creates all your captions for you. Or you'll see videos from Gary Vee or Alex Hormozi or Sharon Srivatsa or a lot of other people, and they'll have the captions at the bottom, but they'll be flashy, right? They'll be the captions that are, you know, yellow, and then maybe they flash red and they're bold. That's how you create those. That's one way to create those. And then the last one I want to talk about is, the last two is teleprompter and background removal. Background removal acts like a green screen where it just takes whatever's behind you out of the picture. So that's really good. And then teleprompter allows you to hold up your phone, read something, but where they put the text that you're reading is toward the top where your camera is on your phone. So it almost looks like you know, it almost looks like you prepared for this and you know exactly what you're talking about because you're looking at the camera and looking at the phone like this, but you're really just reading. Instead of what most people I see do is they'll have it on their computer and you'll see them go like this and then look back at the camera, or go like this, look back at the camera. And so anybody who's doing that, I immediately know that like it's a problem with my brain. I can see their eyes going like this and I can't pay attention to them. It's like hearing like in a conversation. It's too much. I see their eyes going all over the place.
Can you cut out ums and uhs with CapCut?
You can cut out ums and uhs. Oh, I hated that it went away. I got to keep my finger on this the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess so. That's all right.
Shirt looks great though.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's something I deal with a lot too. Like we were shooting yesterday. I just said like yesterday I was shooting with my videographer and I realized I said and all the time. And his instructions are cut that out of every video. Don't ever let me say like or
Which is hard. I think that's why many people don't like going live, don't enjoy going live. But I think if you compare it to when you're meeting a client for the first time, you're going to have the same conversation. And so, I don't know, I think it's natural.
So how do you do that on there?
Well, we'll go through every one of these options.
Okay. Perfect.
So I'm going to start off with a new project. So it's this giant blue button up at the top. It says new project. So if you're going to start a new video, I just go from there. This is assuming that you already have some kind of recording on your phone, whether it's a video or photos of different things. Okay. So if I go to new project, it's going to give me a bunch of videos. You see at the top left-hand corner where it says video. These are all different videos that were taken on my phone. If I click in the middle, it says photos. These are different photos on my phone. And then I can go through, right now it says, it has AI media at the top right-hand corner. I'm not going to mess with that, but just know that you have a lot of other options out there available for you. You have stickers, you have GIFs, you have a lot of things that you can pull in. Let's focus on videos and photos for now. So I'm going to choose a couple videos, and you can see the time at the bottom right-hand corner of the video. And then you also see a circle down at the bottom. The circle is what we're selecting. The circle is my checkbox, essentially. So I will select this one, and see how I click in the circle, and it puts a number 1 in there. So that 1 is the order of operation. And I'll do another one. I'll do another one here. Let's say I find this one. Great. And I will do another one here. I don't even know why that one's there. I'll do one here. It's 14 minutes. That's way too long. I'll do one here. And I'll do one here. Okay, notice one, I have the numbers in numerical order as I've selected them. So it goes 3, 1, 2. So that's really good, because if I have a bunch of different clips that I've taken as I'm walking through a house, I can then go into here, go into CapCut, hit new project, and then select them all in the order that I want them to appear. And you'll see it show down at the bottom. This bottom bar are the clips in that order that I selected them. Okay, so it also lets me choose add. At the bottom right-hand corner, it lets me select add, and it adds all 5 of those clips into what we call our project. So I'm hitting add. And now all of these clips, as I slide to the right, are in my project. So a couple things I want to talk about. I guess drop a 1 in the chat if you're comfortable with this screen. If you've used this and you're beyond this, and I'm just going over things that aren't really relevant for you. Okay. I'll try to make it fairly simple here and rush through this part of it. So this is the timeline. And that just means I can go and essentially watch the time of my video step by step by step. And I'm using my finger to slide it to the left based on the clips that I imported. A clip is just a section of video. So I select it with my finger, and that highlights that particular clip. So anytime I refer to clips, I'm talking about that piece of video. Anytime I'm referring to timeline, I'm meaning to talk about this entire section here. It's the timeline of my video. And the reason why we call it timeline, if you look at the top, just under the play button, I say the top, it's more in the center, just under the play button, you'll see an actual time. So you'll see 1 minute and 45 seconds. And as I slide to the left, you'll see 50 seconds, and it keeps going down until the beginning. So that's why this is my timeline. One quick note, I like to select at the very end of all of these. There's CapCut by default puts a clip in there that says CapCut. I just select that. And whenever I select a clip, I get new options down at the bottom. So one of my options is to delete. So I'm going to delete that clip. A couple other notes about the timeline is you can zoom in and zoom out. You can pinch to zoom just like you would on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android if you're looking at pictures. And so that's really important when you want precision for selecting items. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm between these 2 clips. I'm going to zoom in by pinching and dragging. That is vital when you're using a cell phone because it's very difficult to select with precision using your fingers. And you can't select with your nails or anything like that. You can use a stylus. For anybody that's comfortable with that, you could always use a stylus to help you edit. That's really important. Okay, a couple basics that I think we should still go over is On the left, you'll see mute clip audio. So what that'll do is it'll take all of the clips in that timeline and it will mute them. Where that comes into play, I see the question. I'll come back to the question in a second. Where that comes into play is if you're doing a walkthrough of a house and maybe you're just walking through, taking the video, and then later you want to do a voiceover. Well, if you're going to do the voiceover, then you want to mute the clip audio here because you don't want to have two voices or walking noise, maybe your steps or wind or closing the door. You don't want to hear any of that. And so that's what this mute clip audio at the top will allow you to do. So I'm going to mute it so you can see it. And now everything across the board is muted. So when I go to play it, you hear nothing. If I unmute it, it unmutes all of them. I'll look at the example. So it unmuted all of them. All right, so what questions do we have? So yes, we can do another layer on the original video. We'll come back to that. That's a little more advanced. And then what part, I see D is asking, what part do I pinch to zoom? Great question. On the timeline, I don't know if you can see this well on my camera, but it's down below the layer that's there. So there's almost a blank space here between the timeline and the options at the bottom. That's what I use to pinch to zoom. Let's see, it was asked, can this be done on the MacBook? Absolutely, Stan. You can do this on the MacBook. You can do it on, I think they even have a web browser app. You can do it on absolutely everything. So no, for the layer, you do not need a premium version. Now, when we're talking about layers, I'll give a high level and then I'll show it a little bit later. The high level is you can see one line of video here, solid across the board. If you want to see, you can add another line, which is a layer. The point of that is, let's say you have a video that you want to put on top of another video. A great example is, where do I have that walkthrough? A great example is this. So over to the right in the middle, you'll see my head at the top right of that same video. So I'll start.
This is only a 2-bedroom house, but it's nicer than a lot of the 6-bedroom houses that I've seen. Let me explain. For starters, all the appliances are high.
That's a great example. So in the top right-hand corner, there's a video of my head. I didn't use this method, but if you, let's say you had a video that you recorded, a longer video, but you forgot to put your head or your logo or whatever it is, you can add that after the fact on top of it. And that's how this layer option works. So layer 1 is the main video that you have. Layer 2 is adding your head or the logo, or you'll hear people say B-roll. So layer 2 would be adding your B-roll from scenes around you. So yes, you can get very detailed with CapCut. Let's say you want to add more clips. It's just the plus button over to the right. That's pretty straightforward. And then if you wanted to play the entire video and go through, there are two things that you'll want to do. Bottom left-hand corner is to expand so you can see it full size. And then play is bottom left-hand corner. And you just hit play. And that lets you see how everything's going to work as you're going through. So I'm going to minimize it. Next thing. In this particular video, I was taking the recording from my glasses. And so these particular glasses are almost a square shape. It's a little different than a square shape. But you'll know if you're filming video, you're either supposed to do horizontal or vertical based on what you're shooting for, whether it's Instagram Reels, whether it's Shorts, whether it's TikTok videos, or long form YouTube videos, or LinkedIn or Facebook, if people are still putting videos on there. I think they are. So you can adjust the shape of the video using this. So look at the bottom of my screen, and I have a whole bar here. What we would be choosing is called aspect ratio. So right in the middle, down at the bottom, I'm clicking on aspect ratio. That allows me to select what platform I'm trying to focus on. So depending on, it doesn't matter how I shot the video. If I choose the 9:16, which is TikTok and Instagram Reels, notice it adjusts my video to fit that. I can do Instagram, I can do YouTube. For each one, because my video wasn't originally that size, it'll create these black bars to fill in the space. We call them letter boxes. And you'll see this like when you're watching videos on TV, on your TV, and it's like an old movie. It'll have letter boxes over on the sides or at the top or the bottom. So you can keep those and use those and fill that space with something like text, or you can adjust the video. So I'm gonna go back to the TikTok one. I have a letter box at the top and the bottom. So I am now going to hit the checkbox, which is just saying, okay, I want to do this format. So it's at the bottom right is the checkbox to say, okay. And now that I'm in here, I like that it will fit for TikTok. It'll fit for Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, but I don't like the letter box. So what I'll do is I will click on the clip and I can choose pinch to zoom like I did before and zoom in on that particular clip until it fills as much as I want it to. See? So now when I select it, it shows the outline of the clip and where it's at. I can move it to the left or to the right just to align a little bit better. And there we are. So now it will show up on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok, any vertical video source, very clean. It'll look like I meant to do it. Let's see, any questions on this? Is it easier to edit on a PC or the phone? I think the phone, because I can edit while I'm in my car waiting on the next appointment or in between things, or if I'm at the coffee shop, or if I'm at lunch, or if I'm with clients and they're just, you know, in every case, I think it's easier. But sometimes you just want to sit at your desktop. I guess I would say it this way. If it's going to be a long video or highly intricate video, then I would try to do it on my desktop instead. When I say highly intricate, here's an example of highly intricate, because I don't do these types of videos a whole lot, but when you do, there's a lot you can do here. Where's a good one? Oh, that same old, not that one, this one. This is a highly, highly, highly intricate video. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is I have a bunch of different sub videos in between. So each one of those are layers. Me flying is a layer. And then the background is in there, and then the music. So there's so much to it. I did do this on my phone, but it took me probably 3 or 4 hours to edit it. So if you're doing a really highly intricate video, then it's probably easier on your desktop because you can use your mouse, you can import things, you have a larger screen. But most of the time, 99% of the time, I'm just going to do it on my phone to answer the question.
And you can use the app on your computer, right?
You can use the app on your computer, yes. And so if you want the in-between, an iPad would be the best, in my opinion, because you're still getting that same mobility. So you can still do it in your car, but you have a little more grace in selection because of the size of your fingers and the size of the screen and what you can see. All right, so let's see. Stan asks, do you shoot videos in both formats as portrait and landscape while on location, or just edit it later? That's a fantastic question. I personally will shoot, I'll go to a property and have 2, 3, or 4 ideas that I want to accomplish. And then when I get there, I'll shoot based on that idea. I saw that it closed again because I wasn't touching the screen. I'm going to give you an example.
That's a good thing, because I think sometimes, okay, the editing part is usually something people have questions on, but coming up with content, you know, when you go to a new builder, right, and you get in there to shoot content, like if you have like 4 basic videos you're going to put together, what does that look like?
So what I'm doing here is I'm opening up my camera. I'll open it up on video. You can see this, right? Oh, you can't see it on. So when I have video selected, I have these grid lines. This is really important because if I'm horizontal and I want to be able to use that exact same video vertical as well, I will try to keep it in the center square. Whatever my subject is, I'll keep it in the center square. That way, if I rotate, so let's say it's the enter button. Let's say I rotate it and I do another video, I know I can use that both horizontal or vertical. Because what most people do is they'll just take the video, but they won't pay attention to where the subject is in the video. So if the subject is a house and the house is over to the right, that might be fine when I'm recording long form or widescreen, but it's not fine if I wanted to switch it to vertical. It's so much more work. So if I did want to do it both ways, then I would just keep it centered and I would use the grid lines to keep it centered. But I don't do that very often. I would, because of the styles of videos that I create, they are each independent. So I might do one walkthrough of a house, and then I might do one where I'm doing a POV style, and then I might do one where I'm doing a transition style. But I can still knock all three of them out within 30 minutes if I go in with a good plan. And now I have a good amount of content. And I say 30 minutes. It doesn't have to take that long, but I talk too much. POV is great question, actually. POV stands for point of view. So you see this video here where I was wearing my Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Those have cameras in them. And that is so cool. They're getting really popular because they are point of view. You can live your life and walk through and do things and not have to hold your phone in front of your face or not be the one on video. You're delivering that perspective as if they were there. It's very, very cool. And so when I do the walkthrough videos, a lot of times I'll mix and match with a point of view versus, hey, look at me. And I'm standing in front of the camera the whole time, because we know people aren't actually there for us. They want the information from us, but they want to see the house, or they want to see whatever it is that we're recording, or get the information. But we have to inject our brand a little bit, or else it's disconnected and people won't actually call us. Yes, Ray-Ban Meta glasses is what I said. Okay, put the videos on top of it. Yeah,
Ian, real quick, you're going over a lot of topics. If people have other questions or they want to join one of your other classes, what's the best way to do that?
You can screenshot this or take a picture of this. That's one way. That gives you my contact information. The other way is you can DM me on Instagram. And if you just put teach me on Instagram, I will make sure to send you. I've got a full course that's coming out on this. I started to put it together a while ago. Jeremy and I were talking about it. He's like, you need to get that out. I was like, yeah, I do. So classes being worked on. It'll be done in a couple weeks.
Perfect. I'll put your Instagram in the chat here. So keep going.
Okay. All right. So layers. Let's talk about layers. So right now I have a single layer.
My seller may have to pay $35.
And then I have multiple clips. So what I can do is I can select this second clip here, and then it changes my options down at the bottom. And I'm going to slide over and I'm going to choose overlay right in the middle. So I click overlay, and now I have a second layer. Okay. So what it does is the bottom layer ends up being the primary, ends up being the main thing that you see. So there are a few things that you can do here. So I'm going to slide this all the way over. A few things you can do here. I can select this layer. I can make it smaller by pinching and zooming. And now I've got two separate layers. So now I've got the main video, the timeline, main timeline video, and then my layer right below it. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another, well, this might get a little silly. This might be a little too much, but you can also do what's called splice. down at the bottom, and you'll see videos merged together. This is kind of advanced. You're not going to do this a whole lot, but you can see a blend of two different videos. But you don't need to mess with that. Ignore that. So the layer is the important part. So one layer. And now I've got the layer and I have the other video. I'm going to undo my splice. There we go. Let's see if that answered the question. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. All right. So that's one thing. I think another thing that's really popular, and this is what Minnie and I were, and everybody that was there yesterday was talking about, is the removing the background. So in the olden days is how I'll say it. You used to have a green, you used to have a green screen behind you in order to take the background out and to just have your face or your body. The reason for that is because it was a color separation. It was easy to select one color and remove that color, and green apparently was one of the least used colors. And then they switched to blue, and all that to say, now CapCut allows you to do it with one button without having a green screen or any special effects. And so I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to add another layer. I think I'm going to do this one. Hit add. Okay. So this is a good example because what you'll see is you have me, but you have stuff in the background. The video can tell that I'm separated from the background. The colors are different. There's some depth there. So now I'm going to click on this. I'm going to select this clip. I'm actually going to make it shorter by splitting it. So bottom left-hand corner, I'm choosing the split button. And I'm going to delete this second one. The reason why I'm doing that is because it was going to be really long. And whenever you're adding effects like this, it might take a while. It has to process. So I just wanted to delete it so it's a short clip so I can use it for this example. So I'm going to select the clip. Down at the bottom, I have my options. I'm sliding through, and I'm going to choose remove BG, wherever I find it. It was in there. Remove BG, right in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to choose auto removal. Now, the other two options are custom removal, where I sit and I draw with my finger around my body. It's too much work. I can choose chroma key. All that means is if I had a green screen, I could choose chroma key, select it, and it would remove everything based on the green screen. But the easiest method is auto removal. So I'm just going to click auto removal and hope it works. So I click it. It should show, you can see a thing that says applying one feature. And this is what I meant by it might take time, because if it's a long video, that might take a minute. So I did auto removal, and I can check the box. And now there's no background behind me. How do I know it worked? Well, remember that layer thing we were talking about? I'm going to choose, I have the clip selected. I'm going to choose overlay. And now I'm going to take that and slide it over. And just so you know, I don't think I covered this earlier, but if you hold your finger on any clip, it allows you to move it around. So now if I do that, I've got the Cybertruck, or I've got the, Cybertruck behind me, and I'm walking and talking, and that's in the background. Cool. So another thing is maybe I don't want to be taking up the entire screen because this video isn't about me. So then I'll click on I'll choose my clip, and I'll do the pinch to zoom like I always do. And now I can make it even smaller and move it in the bottom left-hand corner. So now I've got a video where I just have the background removed. But I'm also not taking up the space. This works great for so many different things. Imagine if you wanted to do a tour of a house, but you didn't want to be on camera the whole time. This would be phenomenal because you're still putting your brand there, right? Like it could just be you just pointing at things. It could be you just going like this. I think it's important that you are part of it so that people can connect you with that. But not everybody wants to be directly in front of camera and have the conversation the whole time. So this is one way to do it instead of just having a camera walkthrough. And I see a lot of different variations. I see where you might start off on the outside of the house, you show your face, and then after that, it's just walking through the house. That works too. This keeps you in the camera. One reason that might be important, hear me out. One reason why that might be important is because I've seen people, I'm one of them, that can take a clip that someone else has created and just use it. But if you're in the video, I can't do that. Right? Nobody can take my video and say that they made it or use my content as B-roll because my face is in it. So just think about that a little bit. Okay. So that gives me the smaller me. How are we doing? What other questions do we have? Let's talk about text. Let's talk about filters. Filters are an easy way to make things look exciting. So you can see this video. It's kind of bland. The coloring is kind of bland. So down at the bottom, if I have nothing selected, I have an option that says filters. I also have an option called adjust. The difference is filters are an automatic color correction and adjust is a manual color correction. So I'm going to choose adjust first so I can show you. And then it brings up these options like I can hit auto, and it took that video and it brightened it up considerably. And I can scale how much I want to see. And this is the same thing you're going to see in Instagram. It's the same thing you're going to see in TikTok, YouTube. All of these features are on every application. So it's really no different. Once you learn the fundamentals of the editing, this applies everywhere. Brightness, I want it to be really bright. Usually, if we take a picture in a house or do a video in a house, once we get near a window, it does this. It's called, it blows out. So this is how you undo it. Cool. Contrast. So I can adjust everything. If I want it to be, bland, no color, or too much color, I can change that. Same as saturation. If I want it to go, my yellows to be way too yellow, or if I want it to go black and white, I pull the saturation all the way down. Now I'm black and white. So yeah, you can play with all these colors. The last one I'm going to show is vignette, because I think this is something that everybody should know about. Vignette allows you to put kind of a shadow around the edges. And that gives you your cinematic feel. Vignette usually gives you a cinematic feel, and then one of these filters or these color swaps. So I did that. I'm going to hit reset. So bottom left-hand corner, I have an option to reset. That just undoes everything that I just did. Yes. Confirm. Good. Okay. So I can actually delete this. You see how it creates this line? It says adjust. This is actually important to talk about. When I adjust the colors and the vibrance, I'm not actually adjusting it on the clip. I'm adjusting it below. The reason why that's important is because I can take and drag this all the way across, and now all the clips have that same effect. If I didn't do that, I would have to go into every single clip and change the colors. That would be a pain in the butt. Yeah, so it creates another layer, essentially. It's called an adjustment layer, and it allows me, whatever I do. So let's say I wanted a video to be black and white, but I didn't want to have to go and adjust every clip. I would just start it, and then I can drag the black and white all the way across. A lot of fun. Most people won't use it, but it's a cool idea. And hit, so I'm going to hit delete because I'm not going to actually use that layer. But I'm going to show you filters, and it's kind of the same style, the same idea. I'm going to check filters, and now I have all of these different filters. It starts off as featured. Notice many of them are pro. Hollywood is probably my favorite filter because it just does everything to make it look like a movie in a lot of cases. So I just clicked on Hollywood. I'll amp it up to 100 and check the box. And now I've got a Hollywood filter on here. I mean, it doesn't look very realistic, but if you like movies or you want it to seem more cinematic, that's a great way to do it. Right? I wouldn't eat fries that were actually that color in real life. That's all I'm saying. Any other questions on this?
Hey, Ian, it's Jennifer. I always thought you were Hollywood.
You're so funny. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi,
Good seeing you
Ian.
yesterday. Sorry I didn't get to see you at the class.
I know, but I'm here now, and this is awesome. Thank you
Good. I'm
for
glad you love it.
sharing your wisdom. I'm going to go back, obviously, and listen to this and rewatch it. I'm wondering, from a cool factor, is it possible to make you in black and white and then the image in color? Or does
Yes,
it?
that's what I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So let's go back and I'm going to delete this. I'm going to come back to here. And where's my face? My face is right there. So you'll notice that it creates the little, almost like a location icon for where my face is. Why it does that? I think it's because if I have too many layers, it's hard to keep track on a mobile device. If I'm on my desktop, I can have 5 layers, scroll up, scroll down. It's easier to see. But for the sake of mobile, I think it's pretty ingenious they did this. This shows that there's a layer above. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to choose adjust. And then I'm going to choose saturation. And then I'm going to bring it all the way down. And so now I'm black and white while the video is color.
I love it. That's so cool. And for those of you who haven't been to Austin, Ian has officially discovered the coolest coffee spot in probably the entire city, whether it doesn't matter where. I mean, that was phenomenal. So come to Real Cafe in Austin if you're joining us.
I'm glad you liked it. It was a very cool spot. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about that I think is really important is text and then transitions, simple transitions. So let's talk about simple transitions. If you'll notice between these two clips, there is a white square with a black line in the center. That is my transition button. So I'm going to click on that button. And now I have options that show up at the bottom. These options are just a way to switch from one scene to another. That's the whole point of a transition. It's to keep it interesting, but for you to switch rapidly and give an effect with it. You'll always hear professional cinematographers and videographers say, don't overdo the transitions. So I'm going to use this as an example. I'm going to use the one that says pass through. It says too short. That's important. I'm going to do it anyway. You can choose how long you want the transition to be with the bar at the bottom. And at the bottom left, I can say apply to all. Apply to all would mean every single clip has a transition like this. You don't want to do that because then you just have transitions all over the place. It's a little chaotic. Some people like that. Some people don't. You have to think about your target audience as you're putting transitions in. So now between the clips, if I play it, this is slow. It transitions. Now I made it a slow transition on purpose. I'm going to go back into it and I'm going to speed it up a bit by dragging the bar. I'll do 9.9 seconds, hit yes. And now let's watch it again. A lot faster. Cool. Next, I'm going to show the trick that I showed yesterday in class. So I'm going to show this. Yeah, I'm going to show the trick that I showed yesterday, which is to get audio. First, to get audio, it's just a line that says add audio. That's really straightforward, okay? You can just click add audio, and then options show up, and it says what kind of audio. At the bottom right, you can see I have voiceover as an option. If I press voiceover, I can basically watch a video and talk, and it'll just add my audio to that video. So I can walk through, like do a walkthrough of a house, or have someone do a walkthrough of a house for me, hint, hint. And then later, once I have the video, I can just click voiceover and talk about the house. I'll get to your question, Susan. Susan asked, what transition do I use in most house tours? Ooh, I am a nerd, so I like the glitches. But those are sold better if you have sound effects, and we'll talk about that here while we're talking about audio. So Yeah, I'm going to go back to that for just a second. So this transition here is fine, but it's not as good as if I added sound to it. This is a zoom, like a vortex. Okay. So if you're making a video, every video is some kind of story, right? Should be some kind of story. So if I'm making this and I'm going through and I see a vortex, I expect the sound. And a lot of people won't put the sound behind it. And so their videos just, they don't land the same way. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, what sound can I add to this? Do I have to do it? No. Does it add a level of complexity? Yes. Is it better quality? Absolutely. So I'm going to choose audio. I'm going to go to sounds. You can do sounds or sound effects. I feel like sounds works better. And up at the top, I'm going to choose whoosh and hit search. So now when I do that, all I have to do is tap on the sound to hear what it sounds like. Oh, the deep whoosh. That's a good one. Great. I'm going to hit plus to add it. Just to the left of the plus icon it's the save icon. So if you click that, it'll save it in your history. So if you wanted to use that over and over, you can use that whoosh. There are a lot of times where I do something where it's like a punch or a kick sound. And so I would save that all day. A whoosh or a glitch. Those are the sounds that I would go through, the ones that you know that you're going to use, and save it. So anyway, I'm going to take this whoosh and I'm actually going to save it because I will use that a lot. And I'll hit the plus. The plus now adds it into my timeline as a different layer, audio layer. But first, you'll notice, so let me talk about this. This is where the sound is. You can actually there's a visual representation of the sound and the arc. And so this is a bunch of nothing right here. So I'm going to shorten that. There's no reason. And for those of you that haven't been able to trim videos before, once I select the clip, I can choose any of the edges and drag it to trim it. And trimming it just means making it shorter. I'm not slowing it down or speeding it up. I'm just making the clip shorter. Okay, so now I've got my audio. It starts right about here. I'm going to trim it to here. And then I want to align it with my transition. So now I'm going to take this and drag it over. But you got to be cognizant of this because the transition actually starts before the line. So I want the peak of the, this is way too technical, but I just want it to align, right? So when I'm watching it, so I'm going to hit play.
And how did you move it, Ian? Just add
Uh,
like it moved by itself from where we could see. We didn't see.
Oh,
what you
really?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hold my thumb on it.
Okay.
And this is on
Thank you.
any clip. Once I hold my thumb on it, I can move it around. Yeah.
That's so stinking simple.
It's
I love
very
it.
simple. Very simple. And so now I've got a cool effect, a transition, and a sound. And now all I have to have is either music or my voice. That's super cool. All right. Next, let's say I want music. I can do the same thing with the sounds icon. I can click sounds and I can choose, let's go with trending up at the top right. Let's choose, well, as I'm going through, I see on the left side, just next to the picture, I see a number. That is how long this clip is. This is really important because when we're looking at our timeline, my timeline, it is on the left toward the center. It shows that this is a 1 minute and 27-second video. That's how long this is so far with my 5 clips. So I want to have music or sounds that are going to be longer than that. So I go back to sounds, I choose trending. And so if it's something that's 38 seconds, it might sound cool, but it's not going to work for me. So I'm going to choose, let's see, Smart Life here. Fine. I'm going to hit the plus. And now I've got audio, another layer of audio below this. So if you look at this, I actually have 4 layers, right? I have the picture that's in black and white.
I have the main picture, I have the sound effect, and then I have the music at the bottom. If I add voice, that creates yet another layer. Once again, this works on every single platform, every video editing platform. So once you learn that concept, it is, like Jenny said, so stinking simple. Understanding that they all just align, and going from left to right is how you play it through. And that's your timeline. Okay. So one thing about this audio is there are a few things. I'm going to zoom in so I can see. Notice that it doesn't start till here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this and drag it all the way over. And then I'm going to take that song, slide it back to the beginning. So now it starts right away. Cool. Now, oftentimes we as realtors have music. This is what I've seen. Our music is way too loud and nobody can hear what we're saying. So what I want to do now is select this audio. I can choose volume, which is right in the middle, and I can lower it. So I can make the volume, let's say 10. And now it's subtle in the background while I'm speaking. So you still have that tonality. You still have some kind of ambiance to your video, but your speech and your cadence is what they're hearing more than the music. People aren't there to listen to the music. They're there to understand why you're showing them this house in most cases, if it's a home tour. And what's really important is making sure that the sound effect is still there. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit, just a little bit more so you can hear the difference. I'm going to come back and let me play it. It still sounds good. Great. Okay, next I'm going to do text and fonts. So earlier I showed it was super easy to just click text or to just add in automatic captions. That's what we're going to do. We're just doing it from this screen instead of doing it from the other screen. So down at the bottom, I'm just going to click the text button and it pulls up a sub menu. And there's a bunch of them. Lyrics, if you want to start singing, text template, there's all sorts of fun stuff. Stickers. Stickers are the same as they are on Facebook or Instagram, where you can have like a subscribe button. You can have a follow me. You can point arrows, circles, all that sort of stuff, which are now another layer. So if you were going follow me and you added a sticker, you're actually pointing to that sticker and they see the sticker. It's really cool. Anyway, the point of this was auto captions. So I'm going to click on auto captions. Oh, it's okay. Notice it says I have to turn the volume or add volume to or audio to your volume, audio to your video. Because I muted everything, it got rid of the captions. So if I did a voiceover, that would create new audio that we can use. But I'm just going to unmute this for the moment so that I can use it for the captions. So I'm going to click auto captions. Great. From the video. Now right here, you see templates. You can manually do all of this. It's easiest to just select templates. It looks like all the templates are pro. Not all of them. Some of them are not. It's like this one is not pro. Good.
Ian, we're at 11 o'clock, bud, so we got to wrap up.
Oh, really? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll just hit pro. I'll just hit this, hit generate, and leave it at that. And I hit done. And now we've got, I think this is music. This is. So it adds my captions. All right. Sorry for going over, but
no, you're good. Let's answer
helped everybody.
Let's answer a few questions. We're going over, so sorry if for that, but let's answer a few more questions that you have. Again, you can find Ian on his Instagram at Ian of Austin, and he can give you his next class that he's going to do. We will put together a playbook, and we're going to send that out. So check your emails for that. We do this every Friday. So different people every week. Next week we have Mindy coming on. She's got a crazy YouTube TikTok account. So she's going to talk about things she's doing on TikTok. She's the Utah mom. So if you have questions about Real Broker, here's a high note. You can click on that and it'll give you all the info about Real Broker if you're considering that or looking for a change. But anyway, what questions do you have before we jump out? Stan says, how do you cut out a section of a clip in the middle?
Got it. I'm sharing right now. So I'm back in here. A section of a clip in the middle. I would just select that clip, choose split, select another section, choose split at the bottom left. And then I can choose that new clip that I created and hit delete. And so now it goes from one straight to the other portion.
Split. I like that.
Yep.
If you found value in this, can you drop a 1 in the chat? I want to make sure that you found value in this. Perfect, John's. Perfect. Okay, what other questions we got? Ian,
I saw one. Oh, adding text only to certain clips. Very easy. So at the bottom, instead of choosing auto captions, I would leave that alone. I would just choose add text. So let's say it's right here, add text. It gives me a keyboard and I type what I want. So I'll do at Ian of Austin and check the box. And now I've got text that says at Ian of Austin. And then while I have, see, it's right here. But it's only for as long as that bar is in the timelines, see? And then it goes away. So I can select it. I can change my style. I can click any of these options, go to effects, animations. So yeah, that's how you do it. Maybe I'll do this, click, and hit check box. So now I've got a cool little effect. And it's only in that section. And I can move it around if I need. That answered that.
Hey guys, I gotta run, but I just want to thank you, Ian and Jeremy, for putting this together. You mentioned this every Friday. Is it always at the same time, or do we have to register like on a weekly basis, register every time, or can I just put it on my calendar that it's always gonna be?
The link for this video never changes. The link is always the same. So it's always the same link that I sent out. So if you want to jump on, it's every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. And we have different guests every week. Joanna was on here before. We all talk YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much all video based.
Sounds good. Just as a side note, I do join the Zoom calls from Alamo Title as well, and sometimes they bring guests from like Tom Ferry. And today, right now, they're talking about the NAR settlement, all that kinds of stuff. That one starts at 10:30. Just so you know. Okay. I don't know how many people here even joined those Zoom calls, but just wanted to throw that out there.
A lot of us here at Real did the one with Sharon Srivatsa, and that one was amazing. Yeah. So
right.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you guys. See you later.
Thank you. Ian, I'm trying to find your you do a branding class with Raj, correct?
Yeah, it's in Real Academy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. I'm looking at that. So if there's another question you want to answer, I'll find the link for that.
So Leslie asks, how long did it take for me to learn the CapCut basics? I had an unfair advantage because one, I'm kind of a nerdy. I'm very nerdy. And two, I had already learned other higher difficulty apps. And so when I jumped into CapCut, I was like, oh my God, this is so easy compared to those other apps. And so if I were saying somebody who's never used it, going into somebody who wants to use it at a pretty high level, you could spend a day, but I mean a day, and be very, very proficient. But you'd have to spend the entire day understanding like a lot of the reasons why you're doing the things, not just what are the functions. It's like, why are the functions relevant? And that's with anything.
D asked, do I send reminders? Yeah, on my Instagram, every week I post the reminder on there. So in fact, if you go back to the link and click on it after we're done here, when you go to register, you can just click on every single date on there and it'll put it into your calendar. Because every date on there. So, and then I also dropped in the comment, One Real X, Sharon Travats is doing a buyer mastery class online. Ian and I have been to it. Amazing event. If you're trying to figure out what's going on in the market, any of that stuff, like the buy, like what's happening with buyers, how to set up a better buyer conversation at the beginning. So definitely take that One Real X, put mine or Ian's name when they say who sent you. So it'd be awesome. But yes, every week. Go ahead. So I cut you off, Ian. I'm reading the comments now.
No, I don't think you did. I think we're good. Leslie, did I answer that well enough? I guess the other part of that would be, like I said, I'll finish up a course here in a little bit that'll go over all the basics. So that's one option. You can spend some hours on YouTube just trying to get through it, but it doesn't take that long. I see Tracy talking about music on CapCut. Can we add our own? The answer is yes, you can add your own. That's going to take a lot longer. That one I'll actually put a video out here in a little bit on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'll put a video out on how I do that.
Oh yeah, and you DM him on Instagram. I put up his Instagram at Ian of Austin. So if you have more questions, you could definitely reach out to him. You do have classes coming up or more opportunities for people to learn on CapCut and video, right?
I do. Yeah.
Perfect.
Ian, thank you so much for sharing this. I did put a question, but I think you missed it. The only part that I missed was when you put the harsh noise. So I don't mind staying behind a little bit just so you can show me that one in the transition part.
Oh, you know what? I'll do that one today too. So I'll do the hush noise and I'll do adding video, and I'll put those on my Instagram.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, cool. Thank you, everybody. Any other questions, you can reach me on Instagram, or if you got this on Facebook, and a lot of people reach out from Tom Ferry from Facebook, just DM me and I can chat with you about anything, any questions you have, or direct you to Ian. So thank you. We'll see you in the next one, everybody.